to be fixed. And I don't give a damn if I get fined because that shit cheap. And I am tired of the shit. Because I've been nice and I've been humble with it, but I am tired of the shit.
Back a little bit. You can't want to be the villain. You can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you succumb to those emotions.
What happens when raw talent meets an absolutely explosive temper, then gets destroyed by the most powerful voice in sports media? You get Angel Reese's most catastrophic week yet, and Stephen A. Smith delivering the most brutal reality check in WNBA history.
It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA.
Get ready for yet another wild ride in WNBA drama, because this story has everything. Tantrums, Twitter meltdowns, and the most savage takedown you've ever seen. But first, let's paint the catastrophic picture here. The Chicago Sky aren't just having a bad season, they're having an absolute nightmare. At 5-13, they're the second worst team in the entire WNBA, and Angel Reese, despite putting up what her fans call monster numbers, is watching her team get demolished night after night. But here's where it gets really interesting. While Reese is busy padding her stats and chasing individual records, her team is crumbling around her. 7 losses in their last 10 games. This isn't just underperformance, this is complete and utter collapse. And you know what? The frustration has been building for weeks, but instead of channeling it into leadership, instead of bringing her team together, Reese has been doing the exact opposite. She's been a walking time bomb, and everyone could see it coming. So, on that night in Washington, the entire sports world got to witness the explosion. Picture this chaotic scene. It's the final minute of what should have been a competitive game between the Chicago Sky and the Washington Mystics. The game's tied at 77, and this is exactly the moment when real leaders step up. This is when champions are made. But Angel Reese, she was about to show the world what she's really made of. Washington's Shakira Austin is at the free throw line. She misses both shots, a huge opportunity for Chicago. But then Austin grabs her own rebound and scores to put the Mystics up 79-77. The arena erupts, and you can see the panic in Reese's eyes. Then Reese gets fouled on the other end. She makes both free throws to tie it up, and for a split second, it looks like she might actually step up when her team needs her most, but that's where the real Angel Reese showed up. With just 30 seconds left, Chicago gets hit with another foul call. The team challenges it, and players start heading to the bench. That's when Ann Crosby, Chicago's vice president of basketball operations and a respected member of the organization, approaches with a clipboard. Now, any professional player would take that clipboard, listen to the strategy, and try to help their team win, but not Angel Reese. Oh no, she had other plans. In what can only be described as the most childish tantrum in recent sports history, Reese violently slapped that clipboard straight out of Crosby's hands. But wait, it gets worse. Now, any reasonable person would have immediately apologized. Any mature adult would have recognized their mistake and tried to make amends. But Angel Reese, she decided to pour gasoline on the fire. Instead of showing even an ounce of remorse, she went straight to Twitter and doubled down with a tweet that will go down in history as one of the most tone-deaf responses ever. Those ... were pissing me off. Shout out to Anne because she knew it was the heat of the moment, and she didn't let me apologize because she knew. Not happening again though. Let me break this down for you, because this tweet is everything wrong with Angel Reese's mentality. First, she's still cursing about the situation. Second, she's making it sound like Ann Crosby, the victim in this situation, was somehow doing her a favor by not accepting an apology. And third, she's treating the whole thing like it's some kind of joke with her crying emojis and casual tone. This wasn't an apology. This wasn't accountability. This was a player who was trending for all the wrong reasons and decided to make it even worse. She turned what should have been a private moment of growth into a public spectacle of immaturity. But here's the thing that makes this whole situation even more damaging. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was just the latest in a series of meltdowns that have defined Angel Reese's professional career. Less than 48 hours before the clipboard incident, she went on what can only be described as an unnecessary rant against WNBA referees. In a post-game press conference that should have been about basketball, she turned it into her own personal therapy session, complete with F-bombs and threats. Hold up. Before we get to the absolute destruction that Stephen A. Smith delivered, I need you to do me a huge favor. If you're enjoying this deep dive into one of the most controversial stories in WNBA history, smash that like button right now. We're about to get into the part where Stephen A. Smith delivers the most brutal reality check you've ever seen, and trust me, you do not want to miss this. Also, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because we're covering all the biggest sports controversies, and this Angel Reese situation is just getting started. Now, let's get back to the carnage. If you thought Angel Reese was loud, Stephen A. Smith turned the volume to 11 and then broke the knob completely off. He didn't just respond to Reese's tantrum, he absolutely obliterated her and exposed every single flaw in her argument, her behavior, and her entire approach to professional basketball. His message was simple but devastating. Stay in your lane, but the way he delivered it, nuclear. Stephen A. didn't just call out Angel Reese, he went on to call out the entire culture of jealousy and unprofessionalism that she represents. He said she'd been turning every sideline into an audition for America's Next Jealous Teammate, and frankly, he'd had enough. But here's where Stephen A. really went for the jugular. While Reese was busy breaking clipboards and having Twitter meltdowns, he reminded everyone about the player who was actually changing the game, Caitlin Clark. And oh boy, did he come with receipts. Stephen A. armed himself with stats like they were weapons of mass destruction. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, Stephen A. said. She's a walking marketing campaign, a highlight reel, a franchise in sneakers, and he was absolutely right. Clark didn't just change the game, she rewrote the entire rulebook for what the WNBA could be. When Caitlin Clark plays, the WNBA averages 1.178 million viewers, and when she doesn't, it plummets to just 394,000. That's not a dip, that's a complete collapse. That's a 3 times crater in viewership that exposes exactly how much the league depends on one player. But what really had Stephen A. fired up is the fact that players like Angel Reese seemed more interested in throwing tantrums than acknowledging the player who was single-handedly saving their league. Stephen A. called out the league for letting Clark get body slammed every night while refs just swallowed their whistles. He pointed out that instead of protecting their golden goose, the league let her get targeted with elbows, cheap shots, and flagrant fouls like it was part of the entertainment. And players like Reese, they seemed more interested in sending a message than actually winning games. They were so focused on trying to knock Clark down that they forgot to focus on lifting themselves up. The result? When Clark finally got injured and missed weeks of marquee matchups, the entire league felt it. Ticket prices dropped, viewership declined, merchandise sales flatlined. The bridge Clark had built between college basketball fans and the WNBA was suddenly closed for repairs. And what did Stephen A. do? He said, "I told you so loud that the entire country heard it." Now he's the harsh reality that Angel Reese and her supporters don't want to admit. This isn't about one bad moment. This isn't about heat-of-the-moment reactions. This is about character. When you're a professional athlete, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing your team, your organization, your league, and your sport. Stephen A. Smith didn't just call her out, he exposed the horrible flaw in her entire approach to professional basketball. While Caitlin Clark was building bridges and bringing new fans to the game, Angel Reese was burning those bridges with her tantrums and Twitter rants. And the most insulting part? She acts like she's the victim in all of this. Like the referees are out to get her. Like the media is being unfair. Like everyone else is the problem. Stephen A. Smith said it best. Get on board or get left behind. Because the Caitlin Clark train is moving, with or without you. And right now, Angel Reese isn't just not driving that train, she's not even on it. She's standing on the platform, screaming at the conductor while everyone else moves forward without her. The clipboard incident wasn't just a moment of poor judgment. It was the perfect metaphor for Angel Reese's entire approach to professional basketball. Destructive, disrespectful, and ultimately self-defeating. And until she learns to control her emotions, respect her teammates and staff, and focus on what actually matters, winning, she'll continue to be exactly what she's become. A walking headline for all the wrong reasons. What do you think? Was Stephen A. right to call out Angel Reese, or did he go too far? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that like button if you want to see more deep dives into the biggest sports controversies. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because we're covering all the drama, all the controversy, and all the stories that everyone else is afraid to tell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.